Here we are back for another warm-up show with the hockey coach, Gold Coach, and she's directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. And we have to go all the way somewhere, and from not the Gavement, but from upstairs somewhere somehow, and Toronto, the co-host, Mr. ENORTAP, back in the house.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Oh, we're getting closer, Coach. You can feel the thick air, all about these rumors and what's coming up at trade deadline time. It's exciting.
It's getting there more and more and more. We have new name and the little board on the board for the trade deadline, and we're going to talk about some players. So we're going to talk about the Devils with the Montreal Canadiens name. We're going to shocking people in the chat the next couple of minutes. I just find out this couple of minutes ago. Montreal is at Devils tonight, and nobody talk about this, but who is the number 3 in the standing ranking in NHL right now with the most points? Yes, they are. The New Jersey Devils, Mr. ENORTAP. They are unbelievable. So we're going to talk about the Devils tonight a little bit more because Montreal played there. That will, Joseph Lahon will be happy to hear that. He's a fan of the Devils. But we have a few people knock the door, Mr. ENORTAP. Before we welcome everybody, maybe to mention what happened yesterday on the stat or the prediction, because some did not send 6 games. So could you just explain a little bit more so people can understand?
Yeah, unfortunately, when we spoke together, all of us on Sunday night, we forgot to mention it at that point that Monday in Ontario was Family Day. In the States, it was President's Day, I believe. And therefore, out of the 6 games, 4 were going to be played in the afternoon. So early in the morning, I sent out an email to everyone that was involved with the predictions, just a reminder to try to send them in. And so that email went out, and I think just about everybody, maybe 1 or 2 people, maybe didn't get it in time and sent just the last 2 games, right, rather than all 6. But I think everything's okay.
Yeah, that's great. I just thank you so much. By the way, I don't know if Nick bring more clothes for the stay a little bit longer in the jail, but he's stuck there for 48 hours now. So look like he's starting to enjoy the location over there. And maybe the food will be better in the jail compared to Illinois. But we're going to hear some comments from here the next couple of minutes, Mr. ENORTAP. But listen, we're going to start with right away what we have in the chat. First of all, thanks so much for all the likes we got already at the beginning of the show. The Retro Sport guy, first of all, we want to thank him, Mr. ENORTAP. He's back. Welcome. He's back again. And it looked like he's become a regular of the show. So we want to appreciate the fact he take a time to come to the show and sharing some kind of the news around the league. He's just talking about the game tonight, the referee of the game. And then he talk about John Marino, everything, and Vanecek. So thanks so much. We appreciate Redo. He take the people like you, make the chat better. So sharing information, that's what we're looking for, Mr. ENORTAP, for that. So we want to welcome him tonight.
Welcome. Thank you.
The Roadrunner knocked the door. Mr. Gary Cournoyeur is in the house.
Hello, Gary. How's it going?
We talk about him without knowing he was already in the house. We're talking about the best from Houston, Texas, Joseph Lahon Devils.
How's it going, Joseph?
And he did not take the lead. He did not go backwards. He stayed with us, Mr. ENORTAP. Yamo Vartanen with a 2-4 last night. Wow, 2-4. 2-4. What the heck?
Oh, man, that was bad. We all got into that trap. Welcome, Yarmo. Moi, moi.
I was that feeling, the Flyers last night. Like, Yamo talked about this, and yesterday I was that feeling to get the Flyers yesterday.
I know, but it was I didn't like the fact that they were going to go with Markstrom again in net, but it's hard. You figure this is a must-win for Calgary. Like, come on, put all your ducks.
They cannot lose. No, yeah, I'm sorry about this. Plus, they come back in the game 3-3. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, another source of motivation for them. The game, like Seattle Kraken, you know what? We are wrong, and that's okay. It's just like, just a bad game for Kraken, whatever it is. So, He just said, but that game again, Islanders, Pittsburgh. Why Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh is funny because but Pittsburgh could play like a Stanley Cup winner, and they can play like the bottom five in the NHL. It's just who they are. They are up and
Yeah.
down. They have no consistency. They got yesterday. They got checked a lot. They got moved around yesterday, Mr. Notap. Unbelievable by the Islanders. At some point, they will have to figure out something. You have nothing to respond to the aggressivity of the physicality of the Islanders yesterday. That's what it was part of the turnover yesterday between. So we're going to talk about the game. We're just starting right now to go that way, but we're going to talk about this a little bit more information about this. We have Yamo, we just mentioned about him. And we have Retro. Vinny, here we go. No way, I'm not going to the jail. I did really bad for prediction.
Maybe you're right, Vinny. Maybe there's something a little bit worse than your record yesterday.
It's happened sometime, Vinny. Don't worry about that. The good news, you're going to be with Nick, so you're going to be fine. Don't worry about that. You're going to have a nice ride with DANY all the way over there. You're not going to jail, by the way. He's 1-5.
Yeah, he was saved by the bell.
He was not in the jail, by the way.
No.
Vinny, you're not going to jail. Oh, Ellen Keeve is in the house. Ellen, give us some information. Ellen, anything you want to tell us about the Montreal Canadiens, what you expect for tonight's game, Ellen? Share with us in the chat. I would like to hear from you if you anything you heard today. Ellen, she's another one, give us all the update around. She's all around the news around the league, and it's good because when I go to bed, I wake up in the morning, I got some news from everybody in the chat, so that's great to see that. We have a double J, Mr. Tap.
Welcome, Double J.
You're board. You did not take Boston and Florida, Vinny. Yeah, what happened? Oh, you said, now wait, I'm not going to the OMG.
It's okay, Vinny.
And that's a beauty, Mr. Naftab, to do this prediction because nobody wants to go to jail and not go there. I took Ottawa. They were 2-0 in Boston this season. Wow, that's a great stat, Mr. Naftab. I did not know about this. Great point. You're right,
they played a great game, too.
Yeah, you're right.
Solid game.
Our friend, Mr. Naftab, Dan Asham from Winnipeg is in the house. Dan, welcome.
Hey, Dan.
It's an afternoon right now, 4 o'clock afternoon. Then are you working night shift or you finish your day already? Or maybe too cold to get out of the house, you stay home, who knows? But welcome back with Colette, both of you. Welcome back.
Or should we say welcome, Danny?
Yeah, welcome, Dan. Confusing. Captain Kirk, Mr. Natap, Captain Kirk in the house.
How's it going, Ryan?
Now, try to understand Captain Kirk, Mr. Natap. He didn't have no result yesterday.
He had, I think he sent in just the last 2 games.
There you go. And I understand. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, I believe so.
And the real Danny is in the house, Mr. Natap.
Hey, Dan. How are you? Welcome.
Our friend, supporter of the Hockey National Show, well, it is a pleasure to open the door for Pierre, Pete, Martin.
How's it going, Pierre? Welcome.
Pierre should change his name. Pierre Pitt, P-I-T, Martin. That would be better.
Pitt Martin. Remember Pitt Martin? Yeah. Great hockey player.
That'd be great about this one. Jet won last night by a score 4-2. You're absolutely right, Dan. We're going to talk about this in the next couple of minutes.
4-1, Dan, but that's okay.
Vinny have some nightmare. He thought he's going to the jail, Mr. Tap, so he's not happy about that one over there. Maybe he's going to happy hour right now across the street.
No Bubba dreams or nightmares.
Look, shine out for the trade. We're going to talk about this next couple of minutes. You're absolutely right. Thanks so much, Fairing. My son went to school with Dawson Mercer. He's a great player on the Devil. He's a new look like me. You're absolutely right about this, Dawson. Dawson is a first-round pick from the Devils. And jumping in the NHL at 19 years old, very impressive. Was really good with Team Canada. Really where I really paid more attention for Dawson when he played with Team Canada. And since that, everything is behind him because he does a good run with the Devils right now. He on the last 5 games, 4 goals. It's about 14, 15 goals in my heads right now for Dawson Mercer. You're absolutely right there. Top 5, top 6 in the lineup. He plays right now with Tatar and Urshire, I believe. But really good hockey player for sure. As you can have, Mr. ENORTAP is in the house.
Hey, welcome, RJ.
Yeah, we'll talk about Hellebuck. We're going to talk about Hellebuck in the next couple of minutes. Luciano is in the house. Welcome back.
Welcome, Luciano.
Mecca out concussion protocol. We're going to talk about this next couple of minutes. Thank you so much. I know the idea about the early game yesterday. Pierre Martin said, it's okay, no worry about that. I'll give you stay home.
That's okay. It's okay.
Next time, Coach JJ. Okay. And then we have anybody off enough to remember Don Cherry, a Grand Pine TV show.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah.
Remember?
That was amazing. Every week, a special guest. Absolutely retro.
I was just watching Me The Price Is Right.
Were you watching the actual game show or?
No, I was watching the 3 girls at the end of the show.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to go there. Okay.
So I was not watching the first 55 minutes. I was focusing on the grand prize at the end. And then at the end, the Bob Barker. Bob Barker. Here we go. I don't know why this show has always been the early in the morning. I don't know why.
That's right.
I don't know.
It wakes you up for the day,
Yeah, it's another story for another time. Here we go. Jeffrey, Coffrey, Corey. Back in the house.
Welcome, Jeffrey.
Welcome back from Taiwan. Try to get everybody. The deal, no deal. He back in the house. We miss him. He lasted 2 days. Welcome back, Real.
Hey, Real.
Parley, Real. Tell us your parley tonight. Tell us what you have in front of you. And we have a few people knock the door. Thanks so much for everybody. Maybe Matrician and the chat sometime. Pierre, here we go. We have a few people knock the door, Mr. ENORTAP. Now it's time to open the door for you because what caught your attention yesterday, Mr. ENORTAP? 6 game. They are the winner. Florida, Boston, Islanders, Philadelphia, Winnipeg, and San Jose. I'm pretty sure you have a couple of comments you want to mention about those games. We can wait to hear for what you have to said.
Well, let's take them in order then, Coach. Florida, first of all, man, oh man. They score a goal late in the third, tied up against Anaheim. Anaheim actually put up a good fight in this game, but Florida really overpowered them. They took a total of 55 shots on Gibson, so you got to give credit to Gibson for a game. I think he had like a .927 save percentage in there. And they earned 2 very valuable points thanks to Carter Verhaeghe's 30th goal in overtime. That gave them those 2 points and a little bit closer to that. I think actually they as of today they hold the second wild card spot, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true?
Say again?
They hold the second wild card spot as of today, right?
Yeah, the Panthers are right now but by the point, not by the winning percentage.
Exactly. So that's a great comeback so far in the last 2 or 3 weeks by the Panthers. So we'll see if they can continue that way. They do have a tough schedule coming up the rest of the way, so we'll see how far they can go with that. With Boston, I mean, what can you say? I mean, they're the Bruins. So far they put together a magnificent year. The only thing that comes to my mind, coaches, and I think a couple people have alluded to this as well, they really haven't had a lot of adversity along the way. And sometimes you wonder, since the first round of the playoffs are always the toughest to get through, might that affect their level of play? I don't think so, because I think they have enough veterans on that team that won't allow that. And even if even if one goaltender is suspect, they have two very good goaltenders, so they can easily rely on either one to carry them. But I got to give props also to Ottawa, because Ottawa, very similar to Florida, has put together a couple of very strong weeks. And yesterday it wasn't through a lack of effort. They had defeated Boston already twice this year, and if it wasn't for the third period goal by Pasternak, this was really just a 2-1 game, and Ottawa was really putting on a lot of pressure to tie this game. So if you're going to lose, I mean, losing to Boston is no harm done in that, except the fact, obviously, you're not picking up points. The Sharks, I think that was probably the biggest shock of the night, if you ask me. Coming out of nowhere and defeating the Kraken 4-0. We had, I think it was around close to 30 shots on net that Seattle put towards the Sharks, and it was really a game. I thought they played a little bit more physical than usual. The Sharks did, and it was interesting to see how the Kraken reacted to that. Now, I don't know. I'll have to look at a few more games going forward, but have they possibly found an Achilles heel with Seattle in the last little while? I don't know. Maybe it was just a one-off. We'll see. Big shockaroo, Philadelphia. As we said earlier, we alluded to it, defeating Calgary. How you leave 2 points on the table like Calgary has done, and I'm really getting worried about Markstrom. I have been all year. You can't keep going to Vladar all the time because I don't think he's a true number one, but yet he's been playing decently. Markstrom, on the other hand, it looks like he's fighting demons in his head. Like, he's a big goalie. I think he's around 6'3", 6'4", if I'm not mistaken. But when he's in the net, he looks small now. And that's all about a mindset. Like, he's afraid to make a mistake. He's sometimes questioning whether he should cover the puck up or give it to his defenseman or handle it himself. There's no confidence in his play right now, and that's a dangerous thing to be moving forward with if you're a Calgary Flame fan. I mean, you can't blame Calgary. I think that they've been doing their job in terms of the effort. I think it's all about goaltending for the most part. Yesterday they took 35 shots on Samuel Arison, the rookie for Philadelphia. You would think that this would have been an easy 2-pointer for them, but that's why you play the game and see what happens. The other game we had Winnipeg and the Rangers. That's no easy matchup. You had two excellent goalies, and really, who stood on his head but Connor Hellebuck? This guy had faced 51 shots, made 50 saves. Quite honestly, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if they would have pulled through here. He just saved their bacon there. We had 2 goals by Scheifele, who's rolling along. He's got his 33rd and 34th goals of the season. Dubois contributed his 24th, and of course, Kyle Connor got his 26th of the season, and they really dominated this game. It was a really physical game, as we predicted before this game. We said you're going to come out of this game and you're going to feel the bruises, and then finally. I don't think it was a surprise. I think that was the game plan of the Islanders all along, is to go in there and play a physical brand of game towards Pittsburgh, and they did. They inflicted a lot of hits. Sorokin, made 46 saves, or 40, actually 44. He had 46 shots, and he too stood on his head and made sure that the offense that at least Pittsburgh's producing didn't hurt the Islanders, and the Islanders just took control physically in that game. And it's good to see that even without Barzal, they're finding a way to win those games. So um, those were my quick observations of well, not so quick, but observations from yesterday's play.
Great. In our top, I will give you the 3-star of the night from Hockey National Show, the warm-up. Hellebuck, point 980 yesterday, 50 save, gave only 1 goal. Connor won 3 point, 1 goal, 2 assists, and Nelson had 2 goals. One of them is a goal-winning game for the New York Islanders. They come back after they trailed 2-1. They scored 3 goals at the third period to give the W again the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are really the 3 players of the day last night in NHL. We have other team, like you just mentioned, over what happening around the league yesterday. We have a 9th game on the program. It's on the top, so we're almost at the end of what we want to talk. But a couple of news around the league. We have a few people talk about fun things and that chat. So great, you guys make some kind of information. Keep consistent to pushing more. We really appreciate about that one over there. The next thing I want to talk about is the Montreal Canadiens. Mr. Tap play tonight. Preview game against the Devils. Montembeault is going to be between the pipe for the Martin St. Louis. Change line, what are you talking about? It's the same roster, Mr. Tap. So nothing changed as the personnel of the players. So Whiteman is still out. Shenneman plays second game back-to-back. But the line changing. So you're not going to see now Hoffman, Drouin, and Dadonov together. Or Drouin now becomes center between Armia and Hoffman as the second line. So I just want to sharing this. And then they will play with Dadonov on the right on this. And then Pitlick at the bottom with Allen and Pesada. And Belzil play with Devorak and Dadonov. And the first line, the only first line they stay is Pinard with Zuski and Anderson.
The first line.
Yeah.
So the fourth line. The fourth line is Belzil with Yolanin and Pesada.
You're absolutely about this. We want to welcome Mr. Andre. Welcome back in the house. And then we have DHG is in the house. Both of you, thanks to be with our Canadian show. You don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. If you don't do it yet, we appreciate that. Mr. Tap, for how many months or weeks we talk about Josh Anderson with the Devils?
Many.
Do you know the interest of the Devils is about him?
I would say it's very high.
0.
I would. Really?
0. From the show I listened a couple of hours ago, from what we heard after he met a lot of people around the Devils, there are no interest at Josh Anderson.
Oh, wow. Too bad for them.
The name they really talk about is David Savard.
Yeah, I know. They want a defenseman with that kind of pedigree and experience.
So here's I'm going to give this in 2 minutes, right? The reason they go that way. First of all, they think because Rand Graves and Sorensen are UFA, so they open up $8 million. And they don't have too much money, so they feel like Savard with 2 years contract at $3.5 million is a really good fit for them at short and long term. Bring those kind of the leadership and the teaching to them with Nemec and other prospect jumping and that defenseman. The second thing I would say to you, why now Anderson? Here's the point, because the next 2 years they have to pay Bratt one contract over there. Is going to cost them a lot of money for him in the future. So they expect because the money will be really short as a forward, and they don't want to spend too much money on one specific player like Josh Anderson. So that's the reason why they are not into Anderson. On the flip side, the top 6 players, they have 6 best players. They are all under 200 pounds, Mr. Notap.
Not a very heavy team, no.
Not at all. So they will have to add some kind, not St. Anderson, but those kind of the bottom 6 with bigger players, everything like that. So I just want to share it with you. So Anderson, nothing what the Devils look like, and look like they're targeting more David Savard. So I wouldn't be surprised they looking maybe at another defenseman on that point over there. And I just want to share it with you.
Yeah, make sure the offer is good. This is the way you improve your team in a hurry.
You're absolutely right about this. So that's pretty much what we have for the game tonight. We're going to move on with other things. NHL news, the Winnipeg announced now the rookie Confetti is on ER. Calgary announced the defenseman Michael Stone is on ER. Vegas, long term, it's confirmed now. So the another Stone, not Michael, but Mark Stone is out for long term. So what happening now? That's open money now for the Vegas pick, whatever it is. Patrick Kane, be careful, Kane could be there. And the Ottawa active Cam Talbot finally is going to be back between the pipe for them, Mr. ENORTAP.
Yes.
Vancouver, Luciano is going to be set out for precaution. So Shane will be out for tonight. It looked like possible Vancouver tried to trade him. And then the St. Louis Blues, Mr. ENORTAP, they put now Perenko on the windows of the store. So Perenko is now possible he could get traded at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised, Coach. I mean, I love what I'm starting to see now from St. Louis. Like slowly the pieces are coming together. And apparently their number one get, like you think they are, yes, they are a selling team because they know they're not making the playoffs, but they also know that they've surrounded themselves with about 4 or 5 core players on that team. And so if he gets rid of some of the contracts, he got rid of Riley's contract, if they can get rid of Perieko's contract, their number one goal is to try to go after Timo Meier. And don't be surprised if he lands in St. Louis.
Yep, absolutely about this. That's a great point. We talked about Timo Meier last night at the show, and then you're absolutely right about this. Andre said Savard not for sale or rent. Without him, the defense is dead. So again, I just said that Montreal want to trade Savard. Just said like the Devils are looking for Savard. At the right price, can Montreal go there? I'm not sure. Andre, but you're absolutely right. I agree with you. I think it would be a really big not trouble, but a big piece a big spot losing for Montreal is Savard leave the building about that, Andre. Absolutely agree with you about this. We have a few people talk each other in the chat, so glad to hear that, Mr. ENORTAP. And finally, last news of the day, Mr. ENORTAP, Team Canada. Marie-Philippe Poulin got his 200 point as a hockeyer. And congratulations for Poulin, honestly. One of the best, maybe one of the best hockey player never played on the Team Canada woman, and just an amazing, great hockey player. So I just want to share with you, Mr. ENORTAP. Now it's time maybe talking about the boss. What do you think about this? Is it a time to bring some people on the bus? We have, I think, 2 people and the boss. I think Peter August is one of them. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
And they are both of them complete with a 4-2 yesterday. 4-2. Nobody have 6-0. Nobody have 5-1. And we want to go with that. Peter August and Ron Kings 20, ladies and gentlemen. So let's put them in the bus. Here we go, Mr. ENORTAP. Talking about the boss, maybe we can talk about the opposite place to go. And this prediction, Mr. ENORTAP, is talking about the gel. And maybe it's not a good news for some of them. First of all, we still with the DANY gel, and nothing can beat his name so far on that one with him, Mr. ENORTAP. And we have the gel set up right there for tonight. But we have one still over there, Mr. Zap, is maybe overlap, or I don't know, oversleep. But he decides, you know what, I'm going to stay there for Jose. So I think Jose can help him. Need some help. So I said he's not going nowhere. So Jose Duarte at Chicago for a back-to-back gel, Mr. ENORTAP, are in the gel for the next 24 hours. So are you ready?
Let's put him in.
Here we go. That's happening for them. They are stuck for 24 hours. And I just want to show you a little bit what's going on in the chat. Because my chat and wonder who this crazy guy are. And then Gary Cournoyer, the Blues are rumored today about Timo Meier. You're absolutely right about this. The rumors started yesterday about this. The fact like they'll maybe get Timo Meier. I think that would be great for them if they go that direction. about this one.
100%.
Definitely about that. Here we go. So everybody is on they are on the jail. Mr. Tap, the only thing I would say to remind everybody, don't forget every day at 11 o'clock I make a video. Yesterday, another option, DUARTE trade, Mr. Tap. I think Montreal could trade Christian DUARTE if the news could be good and return for them. And I mentioned this yesterday. And I talk about the power play. Why the power play Montreal is better. There's something make them better. And I talk about that video yesterday. So I invite everybody, guys, at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, AM, Monday to Friday minimum. You have a video of the culture about the Montreal Canadiens. We try to produce more content we can. First game tonight, the Ducks are back on the ice after they lost yesterday again, the Florida Panthers 4-3 in overtime. Again, at Tampa Bay, where they not lose at home, it's not that 21-4-2 at home.
Yeah, that's very true, and it's more than a week away. Tampa Bay heads back home to host the Ducks. They return from that trip that you mentioned, where they went 2-1 with a couple of very impressive wins over both Dallas and Colorado to open up that trip. However, the club was shut down by Arizona when Connor Ingram made those 47 saves and earned that 1-0 shootout win, actually. And then they fell to Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, by a score of 5-4 to finish that trip off. So they're going to come home hungry. They're 21-4-2. I think Anaheim has not looked at all very good in their the whole season, but in particular, I would say in their last 10 games, they've been outscored in the past 7 games by a margin of 40-19, and this is not a recipe for success here for Anaheim. Plus, the probable goaltender is Dosto against Vasilevsky, which is a huge mismatch as well. So I'm going to take Dallas. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win this one by a score of 5-1.
All the pick, Mr. Nata, we do live. We never attack each other, right?
Exactly.
And look my score.
5-1. Way to
Here we go.
Coach.
Here we go. So I put your score on your right here. Here we go, Mr. Nata. We have the same score tonight. Here maybe the bad news. We have 2-4 last night, but it's okay.
At least we both had it. Next, who do we have next? Detroit. Oh my goodness. Detroit and Washington. Our big player there, Ovi, is not back yet. He's still obviously dealing with the passing away of his dad. It's unfortunate, obviously, for Washington that he's out of the lineup and he's not there to help them out. But I mean, this team is plagued by more than just the absence of Ovechkin. The Red Wings, they're going into Washington tonight. This is the 3rd time this season that the two have played. The Red Wings are underdogs despite having won 7 of their last 10 games and really made themselves relevant in the playoff race. They've really been good over the last 2 weeks, which is something that we really can't say about the Washington Capitals, who not only have lost 4 in a row, but they've lost 7 out of their last 10 games. And all of a sudden, they're on the outside looking in. Ovechkin's absence is definitely being felt, no doubt about that. But like I said, it's more there's no support from goaltending or any kind of secondary scoring that's going on. We have Husso tonight going up against Kumper. And even though Washington is 8-1-1 the last 10 times that they've played Detroit, I think Detroit will find a way to win this one. I'm going to go with Detroit by a score of 4-3.
Well, Mr. Tap, sound good. I think, Mr. Tap, we never talk each other about the score before we go live, right?
Are you going to keep saying that, Coach?
4-3,
Oh
Detroit.
boy. Okay.
I just
Oh, we're
want to
starting to
remind you
read
we
each
had
other's mind.
2-4 last night.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. If we're reading each other's mind.
By the way, for that game, guys, I want to mention you, Zedzina and Ostel is out, held to scratch for the Detroit Red Wings, and they add Vrena and Robert Ag inside the lineup for the Detroit Red Wings. So they are the two
Detroit.
chance for that team for Detroit.
Exactly. And that takes us to the New Jersey Montreal game. The Devils, they're looking to continue closing in on the Hurricane in the Metro Division, and they've been playing some fantastic hockey as of late. The Canadians, on the other hand, are at the bottom of the Atlantic and division, that is, and they're looking obviously to get a little bit lower so that they can be in the bottom, hopefully 4 or 5 at the worst, in terms of the Bedard sweepstakes. They do have, if you look at their schedule the rest of the season, and the strength of the schedule, they do have the hardest schedule going until the end of the year, the last 25 games or so that they have left. This will also be the Canadians' third straight road game, and the last two have gone about as poorly as you can imagine. They were outscored 11-3 in those two games, and you know, it's tough when you have at this stage. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think we're up to 10, and if you include Paul Byron, 11 players or 11 regulars that are out of the lineup, and it's hard to compete on a given night-to-night basis when you're faced with these many injuries. The lineups change. You know, you don't get in that continuity that you're accustomed to when everybody is healthy. You put that together with the fact that New Jersey has gone 8-1-1 the last 10 games that they've played against Montreal. And even though we have Monty in net tonight against, it looks like Vanacek, I'm going to take the New Jersey Devils to win this one in convincing fashion. I'm going to go New Jersey by a score of 5-2.
5-2, Mr. Natap. All right. Mr. Natap, we never talk each other before the game start, right? Before the show, we talk about the score, and we don't know what could happen. But have New Jersey, Mr. Natap, 5-2.
No, are you serious?
Yeah.
We're 3 for 3? My goodness.
3-3.
Oh, boy.
Keep pushing, Mr. Natap. We're looking good so far.
Keep pushing.
I'm getting close. I'm getting very excited for tonight.
Oh, next game. Who knows? Well, here we got the Blues traveled to Carolina to take on the Hurricane for the second time this season. In the first matchup that they partook in, the teams combined to score, I think it was 10 goals in total. Carolina ended up on top of that one by a score of 6-4. Now, we probably shouldn't expect to see that many goals this time around. The goalies are Binnington against likely Anderson is the last I heard there. But if you look at the two teams, they're at different stages now than they were after that first time that they met. St. Louis has lost 2 games in a row, and they've gone 3-7 in their last 10 games. And the Blues have come up or given up 11 goals in the last 2 games alone, including 7 against the Senators this past weekend. The Hurricane, on the other hand, have won 3 in a row, and they're 9-1-0 in their last 10 games. So I would put the Hurricane as massive favorites to win in this game. In their last 6 games, they've won by at least 3 goals 3 times. So there's a good chance that they can win this one by multiple goals as well. I'm going to take Carolina to win this one 5-2.
Oh, but now we are
Close.
wrong here. I go 5-1, Mr. Natap.
5-1, okay.
So we have 3.5. We have half or one of the score.
Okay.
Right now, Mr. Notap is
Uh,
inside of his Nissan, just on the red light. Is about 2 blocks from the home. He's going to be on his driveway, just looking on his left, his right before he crosses the street. He's coming out very slowly at 25 miles per hour with his great Nissan. We talk about Mr. Dixon Automotive Group is at the house, Mr. Notap, tonight.
welcome, Dixon.
You
Oh
wait for the
boy.
next game, right? Here we go.
Oh sure. Oh, and you had to go with the toughest one of the night, I think, or maybe not. Who knows? We'll see if we agree on this one. Looks like Samsonov. Well, it's actually confirmed. Samsonov against Luciano tonight. The Leafs are traveling across the border to take on the Buffalo Sabres after being defeated 5-3 at the hands of the Chicago Blackhawks on Sunday night. They're sitting currently in second place, and they've got to look in their rear view mirror because Tampa Bay is slowly making a move there. And even though the Leafs are primed to play in the playoffs, Tampa Bay could take over at some point, second place. And that would really hurt the Leafs. Tampa Bay would get the home ice advantage in that series, and that could mean the difference in the series as well. Uh, they've the Leafs have actually been, very good all year long. They rank in the top 10 in both goals for and goals against. Um, they're hoping that the addition of Ryan O'Reilly will help them get past that ever elusive first round of the playoffs. Uh, Taking on the Sabres tonight, I expect a very tight game for two teams that are battling for different reasons. The Sabres are now, they've won I think 3 or 4 in a row, so they're looking to make a move and get into a playoff spot themselves. They've been on the road for a little while, so they're coming back home, a favorable position for them. And I'm going to, even though the last 10 games really doesn't tell us much, they've gone 5-5. And that's how these two teams usually play each other. Very tight, very close, and usually balanced in terms of wins. But I think Buffalo at home will have something to prove here. I'm going to take them to defeat the Leafs by a score of 5-4.
They beat Toronto 5-4.
Yeah,
What is the first thing you said to us when the team come back home, Mr. Notap?
I know. I did. But, goaltending.
I listened so much. I check all the stuff you said. You said the team come back home. I go with Toronto.
Uh, but not always, not 100%, coach. Just as a general trend, you got to take these games and then go with your gut. And my gut tells me Buffalo in
Toronto
this
is
one.
going to be hungry after the loss against Chicago.
Oh, here's a big game: LA and Minnesota. Seems like we're saying big game for every single game here. It looks like Copley against Gustafson has been confirmed as the goalie for Minnesota tonight. The Kings, they've won 4 straight, and going into Minnesota tonight to take on the Wild, who themselves have won 2 straight games themselves. They're also two teams that are very similar in terms of their style. And so this should create for a very good game between these two, a fascinating game. Um, right now, LA has really turned into a different gear. I find that they're much more balanced with their scoring. They've tightened up defensively, and Copley has just been really putting together a magnificent year this year. I like what I'm seeing from LA at this stage. I think if they can make a couple of good pickups at trade deadline time, you got to watch out for LA. They're gonna probably get through a couple of rounds for sure, and probably even more depending on the matchups. Now, Mini is 6-4 the last 10 times that they've played LA, but I'm going to take the Kings to win this one by a score of 4-3.
You take who? You take
LA.
LA
Take me
Kings
to LA.
4-3.
LA. 4-3.
This one is on the top. I was not sure, honestly. Uh, what
It's a
Minnesota
tough
is
one.
the last 10 game against them?
Minnesota 6-4. So not much. Okay.
Minnesota
Did I
3-2.
mention
This one is honestly not sure at all.
Gustafson is in net for Minnesota?
I'm sorry. Yeah, he's better record compared to Fleury.
Neither one has a startling record so far, but we'll see. You might be right. Next, fresh off of a very energizing 6-2 home win against the Flyers over the weekend, the Canucks will now hit the road for a clash against the Predators. It looks like Delia is up against Saros in net. The Canucks haven't had much really to cheer about all season long. But really, no matter how bad things can get, they have come to realize that at least they can count on Elias Pettersson. This guy has been masterful so far this year. He's put together 71 points so far. The other night against the Flyers, he had a couple of goals, 3 assists in a very impressive matchup. In their most recent game, the Predators rallied from a 2-goal third period deficit, but suffered a heartbreaking 4-3 loss to the Wild on Sunday. Of course, when Hartman scored, which is I think under 30 seconds left in that game, the Predators look very sluggish at times to me. They're right at the brink of, I think, where they're going to sort of have a cathartic effect in terms of their play. Like, you know how sometimes there's a breaking point, and even though I don't see them getting into the playoffs in any way, shape, or form, they probably still believe that they can. But you look at Vancouver, even though we know what direction they're going, they're 5-3-2 the last 10 times they've met up with Nashville. If Nashville's going to win a game, they have to win this one. If they lose this, they're definitely 100% out of a playoff spot in my eyes. So I will go with Nashville to win this one, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to go with 4-3.
4-3 is on top. Well said, Mr. Natap. You just confirm again, you copy me. 4-3.
4-3. I copied you, yeah.
Yep. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting
Okay.
there, ladies and gentlemen. Game number
We're almost
Vegas against Chicago. Nick.
Nick,
He took
let me
Chicago.
let me think. Yeah, Nick took Chicago for sure, and without a doubt.
Who
Guess who's
else
playing
in
in
the
net?
chat?
Guess who's playing in net, coach, for Vegas? Mr. Brassois is coming back. We got a
Yep.
couple of injuries. Thompson's out. Aiden Hill is out now. So number 3 comes along, and we'll see how he plays. It worries me when a goalie hasn't been in action for a while. And so how does Chicago counteract? They throw in their worst goalie, Mrazek, which has now been confirmed.
Breaking
Uh-oh.
news, Mr. Natap. I just
What
want to be
broke?
sure that would change your mind. The Nashville just announced Philip Forsberg is out for a minimum 3 games.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Nice. I'll stick with Nashville.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Yes.
All right. But
I
that's the
have to.
news.
I can't. I don't look confident if I go switching. The team's more than just one player, but yeah, you're right.
All right.
Okay. So back to our situation, and even though Chicago is at home in this game, Mrazek has not been looking great. I think Stalock's been the much better goaltender of the two. The Hawks, we know the direction that they're in. Vegas actually has come out of the gates since the All-Star break, and they've been really on fire despite all the injuries that they've been incurring along the way. And now we see another one in net for them. They've won 5 of those games since the All-Star break. The Hawks, they've only won 2 since they played 8 games in their last 8 games. One big advantage that I think the Golden Knights have is based on their roster, because there's more, obviously, much more depth there. There should be no surprise to that. For Chicago, Kane put together a very nice game for them the last time out against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it's a little bit too little and too late. I think Vegas, who's played Chicago in the last 10 times, and they've defeated them 7 by a margin of 7-2 to 1 tie. So I'm going to go with Vegas by a score of 5-2.
5-2?
Yes, sir.
I don't give one more goal me. I just said 5-1, Mr. Tap. I'm at the 1 tonight. It's rare I give a lot of 1, but tonight I feel like 1.
Okay.
Mr. Tap.
Last game.
Mr. Tap.
Yes, sir.
Luciano and Danny took Buffalo over Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, my goodness. I guess they're not too confident.
They are fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they go against their team. It's like Nick.
Oh, they're entitled. They're entitled.
Nick at the bottom of the NHL, 82 picks, all with Chicago. And now we have 2 guys right now. They have the top best team in NHL, and they go against their team.
Well, maybe I influenced them. How's that, Coach?
What? So that's real. That's real. Influence a lot of people in the chat. You're absolutely right about that.
Sometimes for the worse.
Yeah.
Well, we got Hart against Skinner in this matchup between the Flyers and Oilers tonight. The Flyers, they wrap up a 4-game Western road trip when they meet the Oilers. The Flyers will look to get to the 500 mark on the road as they're losing. They've lost the last 2 that have been on the road. They put together, I thought, a decent game against the Flames recently. The Oilers, on the other hand, can't seem to be finding in the last 5 or 6 games the win column, because they've had games that they let out of their reach. They've had games where they've had the lead and then allowed the other team back into it, and then they haven't been able to put it away in overtime or a shootout. So I hope these aren't points that come back to bite them, you know where, and by the end of the year. But they've got to do better than this. They've got to play a much better team defensive strategy. Otherwise, the Oilers can score as many goals as they want. Once you get into the playoffs, defense wins it. And right now, that's where their biggest question mark is. So I'm going to take the Edmonton Oilers to win this game. I think they have to make a statement here by a score of 5-2.
So Tap go with 5-2, Mr. Tap. But why not to conclude the show with the same score, Mr. Tap?
Why not?
Unbelievable.
How many is that? 5?
5 of them, Mr. Tap.
5.5, actually.
5.5. Yeah, absolutely right about this. I didn't forget the other half, maybe other game we said, but I think we have more half. Maybe we have 6 if you calculate all the one of them. But yeah, that's what happening, Mr. Tap. 9 games of the program will be interesting. Some fun. We have 2 games differently. The Minnesota Los Angeles, one of them. You go with the Kings. I go with Minnesota. And then I go the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, the Buffalo Sabres tonight, Mr. Tap. Cannot believe that Toronto can lose 2 games back-to-back with the trade they make with Randall Riley.
Buffalo Sabres, look out, Tage Thompson.
But at the end of the day, Mr. Tap, what the good news is if Toronto lose, I'm losing my prediction, but Buffalo is getting close to the Panthers.
Yeah, that's true. That's always a positive.
And what is our record is 2-4, Mr. Yamo. Yeah, absolutely about this on that one there yesterday. We did very bad about that one there. So, Mr. ENORTAP, what are you looking for tonight?
Oh my goodness, there's so many good games, Coach. Like I said, Toronto Buffalo game I think will be an exciting one. The LA Minnesota one I think will be very exciting, and of course the one I'm really looking forward to is Detroit and Washington, because I think Detroit is starting to look like they put things together, and they got to move up.
Yeah, absolutely about this, Mr. ENORTAP. A 9-game of the program. We'll be interested who is going to be at the jail and on the bus tomorrow. But until then, Mr. ENORTAP, we want to thank everybody in the chat for the great comments tonight. We appreciate each one of them. Don't forget, before you leave the building, to click on the like. That'd be great. We'll be back in the next 7-8 minutes for the play-by-play commentary between the Montreal Canadiens and the Devils. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 o'clock p.m., by the way, for another. Remember, guys, when the Montreal does not play, we talk about the Montreal every night from 9 o'clock to 10:30. And that's what we do here at the Hockey National Show. But again, Mr. ENORTAP, you nail it again like we do all night. Every time you show up here.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
Can I believe, Mr. ENORTAP, Danny and Luciano took Buffalo?
I know. A very hostile environment too they're going into. So we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know why nobody listen to me. They only listen to you. I don't know. I don't know. Anyhow, Mr. ENORTAP, this concludes the show or the warm-up show. Until the next time, of course, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only to dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first part of what, Mr. ENORTAP?
You're 2023.
He did it again. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. Look forward to see you tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, with the best of the best. I'm talking about this man, just like me, Mr. ENORTAP. Have an amazing, great night, everybody.
Good night, Hockey Nation. Good night, Coach.